Today we're going to install a wideband and a boost gauge on an Evo 10 Final Edition. So I found there was a bung on the exhaust already right there that we're going to utilize. And the easiest way to look that looks like we're going to route these wires is right here. This is for an O2 bung downstream. After the cat, I'm assuming, if you had one. So take this plate off right here, and there's what's it called? Like I guess a firewall plug. I don't know. A rubber grommet. There we go. So I'm gonna rip into that. I'm gonna take the seat out. It looks like there's an airbag on the seat. So I'm going to want to disconnect the battery for a couple minutes before I dig into it. But you can see that fitting right there. That's that grommet, the O2 sensor. And then we're just going to route it through here. He's got dual gauge pod for the side trim right there. And we'll kind of show you how to hook it up. Okay, so when removing the seat, it's got 4 plastic covers on all four bolts. And how you remove them is you just kind of, this one was in here like this, you just kind of lightly pull. You can see there's a little clip right there. Don't pull too hard, you'll end up breaking these clips. Don't put a lot of force on it. If it's not coming, you might be able to work around it. But they came off pretty easy, so there's 2 in the back as well. It looks like this is a 14 millimeter. Yep. So 4 14 millimeter bolts retaining the seat down. But we're going to disconnect the battery first for a couple minutes just so it doesn't do anything to the airbags, because there's an airbag on this seat. Okay, so when disconnecting the battery, it's back here. This is where they put it from the factory. It's a 10 millimeter bolt, and before you disconnect it, make sure you have codes to your radio, because sometimes they require codes after you disconnect the battery and replug it in, just for safeguarding of, like, you know, the radio getting stolen or something like that. So if you own the car, you can show proof of owning the car. Then the dealership could give you the code. So yeah, just make sure that you get the code. So when putting in a wideband, we had this bung right here that we're going to utilize. We already got our plug right through here. We just took the grommet off right here and put a slit in it and fed the wire through. Luckily, it was like the perfect length. This is an AM UEGO wideband. And when installing your O2 wideband sensor, I just use anti-seize, so that way if you need to recalibrate it, remove it for any reason, it's easy to remove, because this is under the car, so it's obviously going to be exposed to a lot of like a lot of weather, whether it be snow wherever you live. You know, here in Idaho, or we get a lot of snow sometimes, a lot of rain. So I just put a little dab like that, and then when you spin it, it'll obviously make its way around the threads. Just gonna install this bad boy. We're probably gonna have to recalibrate it anyway, so I honestly don't know why I'm installing it. But on the Evo 10s, on this plate right here, it's gonna work perfect. So we're just gonna reinstall it how it is. And then AM, with their gauges right here, they have 2 prongs to hold it in place wherever you put it. And we got these 3 holes in this baffle or dust cover. We're just gonna put it right there, and it's gonna work perfectly. Alright. So here we have the routing of the wire. What I did is I put a little slit in that boot. We fed the wire through, and then we went this way underneath the passenger side, and we had to remove all this center console just so I can route it the way that I wanted it. And then just use some zip ties so it'll be secure. I followed this line all the way back. I'll let you guys know how we remove this. It was kind of a pain, but easy once you know how. Anyways, I took this panel off, which is 2 screws, one right here and one right here, and then retaining clips. There's 5 of them, I do believe. 2 right here, and then 3 on this side. So what I did, I just kind of routed it on top of the airbag, and I zip tied the excess right here. We won't be needing all that. I just zip tied it so it's out of the way and you can get to your fuses still pretty easily. And then the gauge pod is going to be right here. We didn't get a fancy gauge pod, so it doesn't have any clips or anything, so it's going to be interesting to see how to keep it from going anywhere. But anyways, I'll talk a little bit about how to remove this center console. I don't know why it's going in and out of focus. Anyways, so what we did first was this shifter cover with the boot on it. We pulled up on it on both sides, and then the front went up. There's like, I think there's 6 clips, 2 up front, well 8, 2 on each side, and then 2 in the back. So once you pull that up, it'll expose these screws right here, which is for your complete center console. So, and then there's this little piece right here. Actually, if you take it off, it'll make it easier to get to those screws, which, let's see if I can put it back in there, show you guys how I removed it. So like when it's in there, just go back here on these 2 little tabs and pull up, and then you'll be able to pop it right out. And then for this, the cup holder piece, it's just clipped in. So if you just carefully pull it up from the back and then pull it up from the front, it should pop. Just be careful not to break anything. Also, there's these 2, which are in the center console itself, just 2 10mm bolts. So you have to remove those as well. So these 2 and these 2 are to retain the whole center console. So you take those 2 out, you'll be able to remove the center console, but remove the shifter cover and the cup holder first. I guess you can do it either way, but and then to remove this side plastic right here, there's 2 screws, one right here, which is behind that center console, so you have to take the center console out to get to this guy. And there's another one right here which is exposed. You'll be able to get that one just freely. So I'll get back to you guys with an update.